Compass FM welcoming into the studio, as we do this time every Tuesday morning, Mayor of the Waimakariri District Council, Dan Gordon. Good morning, Dan. A couple of things that we need to crack on with. Matt Ducey has written to the Minister of Finance talking about a regional banking hub, considering that Westpac, I believe, are bailing from Kaiapoi. Matt's idea is to have a regional banking hub in Kaiapoi. Is that a good thing?
Well, first things first, Westpac phoned a few weeks back advising that they were starting a consultation exercise. I immediately contacted them, set up a meeting with their regional staff, with our elected members, and then I set up a Zoom call with the Chief Executive of Westpac New Zealand, and following that conversation wrote to them setting out our concerns. They've considered all matters, and they are going to close the branch, sadly, which I think is a real shame. Look, regional hubs, I've got an open mind to considering it, but I don't want to see the banks off the hook for delivering services in our communities. No substitute than your bank that you operate with delivering services, but a new model like that, as long as it delivers in-house custody, so there's a staff there that look after it. My understanding is that, because it was raised in a conversation we had with Westpac, it just from the Minister of Finance and also from finance perspective, it doesn't stack in terms of where our community is situated. So I guess, look, I'm always open-minded to making sure we have services for our community, but I just want to look at the detail before I'd give my saying yes, let's proceed with it. But at the moment, our banks here in Rangiora, particularly Westpac, probably have one of the highest number of people through. In fact, there's queues there most of the time. But look, we have to be real. Unfortunately, with no checks and electronic banking, the days of being able to present as you do currently, are looking less viable from their perspective. But that doesn't mean that banks shouldn't be offering services in our community. They should. It's not that they're not making money, because they sure are making money.
The banks are making millions.
And as I said, it's a service, and that's the argument I put to Westpac, and I'll put to any bank that puts I do not want to see services removed from our community, because it's the businesses, it's the vulnerable, particularly our elderly. It's even down to your community organisations that have got to change accounts because they've had meetings and AGMs and changed signatories. You can't do that online.
No.
Well, you can't presently do that online.
We had to do it here at Compass FM.
What a mission.
It was. It took a long time, about 3 meetings, and quite incredible. I like actually talking to someone behind the counter when I'm doing some of the banking, and it's not, when I say millions of profit, it's even hundreds of millions of profit. So
I guess we just need to look into the details more of that. But look, I think we just go, we take that conversations to the banking organisations when it comes up. I do not want to see them left off the hook for delivering services to our community.
On you, Dan. Now, moving on to another bit of a sticky subject. The rates. You've settled on a rate increase number.
We haven't yet. We're going to. We went out to the community with 3.95%. We've set aside today and tomorrow to discuss following listening to submissions. Look, my sense is that we'll be slightly higher than what we went out with, between 3.95 and 4.2 in that sort of area, but we'll wait to hear what staff have got to say, and then colleagues have got to consider that. I know that Environment Canterbury went out with 24.5. My understanding on Friday they agreed on 13%. Still a whopping big increase, but better than the 24.5. But gosh, I know who's got to pay for those increases, and so I know that we will, as colleagues, will be putting our staff under the microscope to make sure that those costs are absolutely needed, and that the projects can be done and delivered. But also just making sure in this particular economic climate that we're not overreaching our community's ability to pay. But even if we do get to 4.2, we'll still be one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in the country, from what I understand and what I'm told.
And also,
that doesn't mean we should do better.
No, I understand that. I get that, and you've got some very, very fine people working for the Waimakariri District Council who will be able to deliver services. competently and confidently, and not wasting anything. The thing is that not very many people have had a pay rise in the last 12 months. It's
they haven't, and I know people that have either changed jobs, have reduced hours, or have certainly not had an increase at all. Our economy locally is doing really well, but that's not to say that there's not pressures coming. There's a lot of changes being proposed by the government to the rural sector that has a direct consequence. I read an article in the press about that today, even livestock going overseas, making that change. So there's big consequences. When our rural economy does well, we all do well. So I really do urge the government to have some caution on our rural sector, that they don't overdo it, because even the direct effect, I know, with our local dry cleaner, if things aren't going well in the economy and there's not that money floating and circulating, then he misses out. So, and then there's other people too. So the factors that we've always got to be mindful of, particularly in our positions.
Absolutely. Now, you might be interested to know, or obviously you listen to the Mega Music Breakfast religiously.
Yeah.
So you would have heard this morning that it was the press's birthday.
They're 160 years old, yes.
Yeah, well, I think you were listening. That's awesome. Yeah.
I had an invite to go to the birthday function tonight, actually, but unfortunately, we've got the Pegasus Residents Association AGM, so that takes priority, but would have gone otherwise. So.
That's brilliant. You did get out and about. You went out to see Ivan Campbell and his Spitfires there recently. Yeah. Did you get into the cockpit again?
No. Once was enough in terms of trying to get back out of it. But gosh, Ivan had a significant birthday, and so as a consequence of that, and something he puts on every year, I understand, is an event for community organisations and car clubs, and it was just fantastic to go out. I'd never been to his place out there before, and the display of Spitfires in the air and the Mustang were just
P51. You got to get it right. P51.
Well, it's a replica P51B with a Rotec motor, and I was a little disappointed with the Rotec because it doesn't have quite the same sound. However, magnificent looking.
It just is.
But the Mustang, the Spitfire has got an LS2 Corvette in it, and that sounds pretty amazing.
There you go.
Ivan's just such a good guy in our community. All those flyovers he does on Anzac Day, and he's really good to community organisations that go out there. And as he says, it's his way of giving back, and he's an amazing person, and we're so lucky to have him in our community.
I can't remember his wife's name.
He and his wife, Sandy. Sorry.
Sandy.
She's lovely too.
She popped in.
She flies too, apparently.
Oh, really?
I didn't realise that until someone was telling me that last night.
Is she Ivan's wingwoman?
Could well be. Well, it's like every Batman needs a Batwoman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Both of them are very, really good people. So they always make you feel very welcome out there, which is wonderful.
Brilliant stuff. Dan, thanks for coming in.
Compass FM.